What's going on, guys? This is Empty Box, and this is iRacing Global Challenge from Oran Park, Australia. A devilishly difficult little circuit, particularly in the Cadillac. Now, unlike usual, I'm not going to be recording this commentary live. I'm going to just interject here and there as required, as well as log some thoughts probably around the 15-minute mark from there on, because things kind of go a little bit sideways from there. Spoiler alert. Anyways, this car that you see me racing right next to, this is the same guy from last week at Sonoma who was wrecked out of the lead when I was basically knocking on his bumper saying, "Hi, I'm here." So I was hoping that we could continue the fight and get the fight that we never got to have, unfortunately, from last week. But alas, it really doesn't work out that way because he was a rocket ship, basically, as you will see in the first couple of laps. Okay, I didn't help the cause by almost spinning on the curbs there. That really will not speed you up at all. And taking too much curb once again. Great. Yeah, not really feeling very confident with this car at this track this week. Like I said, this is a very difficult place to get around. By now it's become pretty clear that we're about the same speed, and if I can just kind of stay around here in this distance as the car comes around to me, because usually I am better as tires wear off versus my competition, I'm liking where I'm sitting. I don't need to force the issue yet. It's still very early. It's 2 laps into the race. Plenty of time left. Really is. So let's just keep sticking with it and keep going around and wait for things to come back my way. Or at least that's the goal. Ah! That literally scared the crap out of me because that hill you just launch clean off. But yes, that was a mistake, a very stupid mistake, and a very costly mistake as well. That cost me nearly 4 or 5 seconds just by going off the track. And it scared the crap out of me too, which is perhaps even worse. Just put 2 tires in the grass, couldn't get the car to turn. Couldn't get the car to turn safely because I felt like if I was going to lift out of the throttle, I was just going to instantly rotate and spin and die, and that's no good. So now I'm back here stuck behind this guy. But I really did this because I care about the viewing quality of my videos, and I wanted someone to race with. That's what I was doing, guys. It's all about you guys. I mean that. I feel like part of the problem with the Cadillac around here in particular, and pretty much any circuit with elevation changes such as Mid-Ohio, Sonoma last week, is the car has such lightweight springs for a car this heavy. The front springs in this setup are 650 pounds if I remember correctly. The rear ones, I believe I'm running the 550 pound springs if I remember correctly. Again, it's either 450 or 500 or 550, which really isn't that heavy of a spring when you consider a car like the Ford GT runs usually around a 1,200 pound spring in iRacing, if I'm not mistaken. Somewhere around there. It's definitely over 1,000. And then consider the fact that the Cadillac is heavy as can be. This car really likes to rotate. It kind of, for lack of a better term, wallows around. And that guy got completely sideways and I was like, oh god, don't wreck in front of me. Don't wreck in front of me. Fortunately, he kept it together. But it kind of drives kind of like a boat, but at the same time, it doesn't drive like a boat. It's very imprecise, but it's precise at the same time. It's a very difficult thing to describe unless you've actually driven this car, but I really do think it's because the car is so soft that it drives in really a very difficult manner. It just doesn't feel like the body is in control. It feels like it's just kind of flying all over the place. By now I've noticed this guy is a little bit slower than I am. I've caught up, I feel safe, I feel comfortable with this car. Mind you, I only practiced for about 5 minutes before qualifying in this series because that's half the fun. It really is. But I do notice I keep going over that little strip on the left coming out of that right-hand sweeper. Keep your eye on that later because that is definitely cutting a very fine line and that very well could come back to bite me later on in the race. So just cruising all over this guy's back end here, just waiting, hoping to make a move. And he runs wide there. I take the tight line and just put the power down and see ya! So now it begins. Time to track this guy down, if we possibly can. I really want to get that battle in from last week, although he definitely seems like much stiffer competition this time around than at Sonoma. Definitely not gaining giant chunks of time in the first section of the track this week on him. That corner is really tricky to put the power down as the rear axle likes to try and hop around all the freaking time, which makes things extraordinarily difficult. I've heard someone ask before in one of my comments, or one of the comments in my videos saying, is that traction assist or whatever? No, it's axle hop. It's actually modeled correctly here at iRacing, which is This is honestly the first time I can ever think of that I had to worry about that. In a high torque car like the Cadillac or the Corvette, it is very noticeable if you put the power down too aggressively over a bumpy surface, such as the exit of that corner. The car really wants to get sideways there. Heck, the car really wants to get sideways everywhere. It's the Cadillac. As we come up on this Kia, I'm hoping that he'll go through turn 1 and 2 nice and safely. No problems. No time loss, really. Instead, he decides to just kind of let me by as I'm already committed to the corner. I don't know if he missed the corner or if he is just letting me by, but I was like, what the heck is going on here? I'm not slowing down for nothing. But you're in my way right now, bro. Honestly, I was kind of worried there because this is, again, a D-Class series, so you never really quite know if they're letting you by because they just want to let you by and they think that's the right thing to do, or if they're letting you by because they're completely not in control of their car and they're probably going to kill you in the process. Fortunately, no issues there, no problems, and we're on our way. Hey. I'm secretly taking the super ultra wide line through here to get exit speed. I planned that. Just kidding. Wasn't planned at all. But it didn't actually hurt me too terribly badly. Should try that more often. And here is where I begin to think I am totally screwed. I've gained a lot of time back on the car in front due to traffic. However, I got a Kia battle going on in front of me. They're battling for position in their own race. And we're coming up on the section of the circuit that really is impossible to pass on. So this is not looking too terribly well. This is not what I need at this moment. No way I'm going to get by the Kias through here. The Kias aren't all that slow, so I really wouldn't mind. And then the guy just moves out the way. He decides he doesn't want to race for position. Maybe he is a lap down or something compared to the car in class, but I was kind of baffled at that, to be perfectly honest, because you don't have to move out the way. In fact, you shouldn't move out the way. And I see this puff of smoke, and I'm like, huh, yellow flag, what's going on? What's going on? Hey, he's got a bent wing. He's got a bent wing. I'm passing the guy. Again, yes. Yes. One of those little patience win, I guess. iRacing karma, you know. Well, at least that's the theory. I don't know. That guy, he is really fast. If he figures out how to actually finish these races, be it aka not get wrecked by a Kia, totally not his fault at all, or not put it in the wall, you know, then again, Oran Park here is a very difficult circuit. Definitely much more difficult than Sonoma was, and Sonoma was far from easy if you ask me. So, that guy is definitely going to be a guy for me to keep my eye on in this series, because he definitely has the speed. Definitely has the speed. spoiler alert, from here on, the race really isn't all that interesting. There's nobody around me. It's just me getting more comfortable with the car, going a little bit faster, feeling a little bit safer, pushing the limits a little bit more than I was previously doing, which again goes back to the whole thing of me getting better as the race goes on versus my competition, because again, I only practiced for 15 minutes in this car, and this is a very difficult circuit. So on that note, I want to go ahead and talk about a couple of different other things, just because, well, it's a third of the way through the season here at iRacing. This is week 5. Week 4 just finished up the day before I recorded this video, recorded this race. This is literally the first race of the new week. So just kind of want to log my thoughts on where I'm at, things that are going on with the series, and you know, iRacing in general and all that good stuff. Just kind of a little summation video. Depending on you guys' reactions and thoughts, I'd like to do this, you know, every third of the way through the season, every 4 weeks, every month, basically, just to kind of help myself as well. But going into the season, I had a couple of goals that I wanted to achieve. Most notably, and this really isn't all that important, I wanted to eclipse 3,500 iRating. At the time, I was at like 3,200. I honestly thought I would never get to 3,000, but I was sitting at 3,200 before the season, and I was like, you know what, 3,500. Once you get to 3,500, that's where you're a pretty capable driver, pretty fast guy. You know, you're not necessarily up there with aliens, but you're a pretty good driver. Well, I'm now at 3750 after this race, somewhere around there, like 3742 or something like that, which was my stretch goal. So I guess I need to up that goal up to 4,000 by the end of the season, which I really think is attainable, especially driving the Ford GT, because that car is absolutely bonkers for iRating. That has the strongest field in iRacing. I am not joking. Please, I just beg of you to race the Prototype GT Open Series in the Ford, or in the Corvette, or the HPD. It's just an amazing series, you know, but especially in the Ford, the competition is ultra stiff, and you know, I'm one of those guys who really believes that racing against guys who are better than you will make you a much better driver. You know, racing against guys who really aren't at your same level is not going to improve you. You know, if you're a guy in the back, you know, who's running 3 seconds slower than everyone else, you're not going to get better racing really fast, guys, because you're not learning anything. But if you're racing with people in your speed range, you're going to start learning things, you're going to pick things up, and you're going to be improving, which I can honestly say has somewhat happened to me. I think about this car in week 13, same physics and everything. We had a little test here at Oran Park, basically. I was running like 106.7, and I thought that was a pretty good lap at the time with race fuel and everything. Came back here, you know, this week, and I ran a 105.7 in qualifying, so I was a full second faster in this car. So I consider that a pretty good chunk of improvement. And here I'm just behind this guy like I really don't want to force the issue. This is totally unnecessary for me to try and get by you. Just have a little bit of patience. Got time to burn. No need to be risky or anything. Just keep the car on the road. That is where I'm at right here at this point of the race, because again, this is not easy. This is nerve-wracking, to be honest. I don't like being in front of people. I like chasing people down because I feel like I have to push. But so I've eclipsed my iRating goal on the road side. On the oval side, I'm at like 2,200, although in all honesty, I haven't done enough oval racing to actually get my iRating to where it actually should be. But I would really like to get to 2,500 before the end of the season, considering the fact that I don't do as much oval racing. And usually when I do it, ends up with me getting wrecked because somebody wrecked and it just doesn't work out for me. I'm always that third guy in line for the wreck. The first guy caused the wreck, the second guy gets by the wreck because he can see the wreck, and then the third guy can't see the wreck because the car in front of him's there, and you're dead. It's enraging, but it is fun, so I'm sticking with it, and hopefully we'll get there and we'll get past that slump of bad luck, because it does happen, especially in oval racing where you're in closer quarters more often. But so there's that. In terms of points, I'm really only running the Ford GT in the Open Series for points, and I'm happy to say I'm currently in third overall, actually, although that will not stay, I can assure you that, in that car in the Prototype GT Open Series, which, you know, for me, that's that's pretty darn amazing. I'm currently leading Division 2, which really isn't all that competitive this season in that car. It's a whole bunch of Division 1 drivers, which those are the fast guys, but you know, I'm just happy to be in that position, and you know, it means I'm doing really good. I'm driving better than what I should be driving according to my iRating and that type of stuff, which, you know, again, that's not end all be all, as you can see with the guy earlier on in this race who was pretty dang fast, at least compared to me, and then, you know, he didn't finish. But that's one of the great things about iRating. You know, I'm a guy who will finish the race pretty much at any cost, you know, but so my iRating's kind of gone up because of that, because people don't necessarily finish. You know, I think about this week in Sebring in the Ford GT, a lot of people were saying, oh, I blew up my engine. There's like 4 blown engines this week. I've yet to blow an engine in any car since the Daytona 2.4, which was because they did a build update 3 hours before the race, which screwed me over. But that's a different story for a different time. So it's been a pretty good season so far, looking to continue things. And I think things can continue because, well, the schedule is looking very friendly, particularly in the Proto GT series. You know, since we've gone to Sebring, my favorite track, you know, really from here on out, the schedule is pretty darn nice, pretty good. I got rid of those tracks that I don't necessarily care for, so that's always nice. But in other news, something you guys may or may not have heard of on the forums for iRacing, Tech Tracks. I never brought this up because I just never got around to it, but they were considering, I don't know if anything else has happened to this because I haven't heard anything on this, and they said, oh yeah, we could do this as early as next week, and still haven't heard anything. Hopefully that's not iRacing soon, although I'm beginning to think it is. They're considering releasing a couple of tracks at a reduced cost for a separate section called Tech Tracks, if you haven't heard anything or you haven't paid attention to the forums. Where basically they're going to be circuits that are just the circuit, and you know, essentially what guys are training on. Personally, this sounds really exciting, to be honest, because some tracks such as Long Beach, I really am not expecting iRacing to ever get them done because the whole street course thing is just too demanding for what their workflow is and all that good stuff. But as you can probably guess, I like street racing. It's fun. It's awesome. It is demanding. It is difficult. You make one mistake, the wall is there, and it will get you pretty much every time. So that's something interesting that I hope they can implement, because again, that would really hopefully open up the gates for more tracks like that, as well as the fact that several tracks we're probably never going to see otherwise without basically being, you know, El Cheapo half-finished versions. But that's what they're being sold as. So, and I almost put it under the wall right there as you saw me get over the grass. But Memorial Day weekend. Hope everybody had a great, safe holiday. Even for you guys outside the United States who, you know, don't celebrate Memorial Day at the same time that we do, or whatever you choose to call it in your country. Yeah, just hope everybody stayed safe and everything. The greatest day in racing was pretty darn good. The Indy 500 was definitely worth watching, which is really the only race that matters on that day, because I'm an IndyCar fan and Monaco is always boring as snot, which once again is pretty boring, to be honest, but that's nothing out of the ordinary, especially for Formula 1 this year, as things have gone from actually good racing somewhat last year to tire management BS and all that crap that's just not exciting at all. NASCAR race, who cares? Cable fell on the track because Fox absolutely sucks. Can someone please get them out of here? But yeah, I almost spun out like 3 corners from the end there. This car is not easy, guys. This is difficult. This is very difficult. And people think they will actually race the Lotus 49. Which, by the way, still no idea if that's coming anytime soon. So that's that. A couple of different things. Random log as well. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Taking the X-Ray CTS-V to victory lane for the 3rd time in 5 weeks in this series. Because, once again, that same guy just can't finish the race. If he can, I'm doomed. I'm doomed. Bye.